Welcome, race fans, to this week's edition of thetunnelturn.com. It's finally about 60 degrees here in New Hampshire. Ready to go racing.
Kyle Busch wins in Michigan and loses his license all in 1 week. Welcome, race fans, to this week's edition of thetunnelturn.com. If you watched the Michigan race, it was a pretty decent race. Near the end of the race, Kurt Busch ended up hitting the wall and set the race up for a green-white checkered finish. A couple of guys ended up coming in. Marcus Ambrose had a great run going until he came into pit road. And when he was coming into pit road, Kevin Harvick ended up whacking him in the rear end and spun his car sideways and it was pit stall. So totally screwed up the guys trying to service the car. He came back out of the pits and he was all the way at the end of the field. So he ended up not finishing good. And I thought he might have had a chance on another third great race. He won in the Nationwide last week, and he also won the Sprint Cup race that same week at Watkins Glen, which is pretty awesome. So for him, he won 2 races all in 1 week, which is great for that team. He's an awesome guy, and it was great to see him win. Another thing that happened is Dale Earnhardt Jr., he got called into the pits, with like 3 laps to go under a green-white checkered finish. He pulled in while the pace car was coming around, and I don't know why they made that call. That was totally a bad call as far as I'm concerned. He was in the top 10 all day. He was like in the top 10 when they told him to come in. As soon as they saw him coming in, I was like, come on, like here we go again. Sure enough, he came out of the pits. He started like 15th. They dropped the flag, and from what Junior said after the race, he got stuck behind some slow cars. He couldn't pass anybody, so he ended up finishing like 14th. I think if for me, I definitely would have left him out there. He probably would have finished 7th or 8th. He had an awesome car. He ran great all day long. But Kyle Busch pulled it off. He passed Jimmy Johnson on the restart, and he ended up taking the checkers at the end of the race. And on Tuesday, he had to go to court for that speeding ticket. So the judge ended up fining him $1,000. He got 30 hours of community service with the brakes program. That's for teenagers and stuff like that to learn how to not speed. He also has a 30-day sentence that's postponed, meaning that he has a postponed sentence of 30 days, meaning that if he doesn't get a violation in his car for a year, then he won't have to go to jail. So from what I read, that's supposedly what that's all about. And he also has 45 days on. He got his license suspended for 45 days. So he's dealing with all that right now. I guess it doesn't pay to do 128 down the road, even if your name's Kyle Busch. But this week the boys are going to Bristol. It should be an awesome race. Bristol typically is. Have to see what happens. And I don't know, maybe Junior Nation will rise to their feet. Who knows? We'll have to see. His dad was awesome around that joint. It was awesome to watch the days of Senior and Terry Labonte bump each other around that place. But we'll see what happens. And grab a couple beers, watch the race. It looks like it's a night race. So should be some great racing action under the lights. Bristol under the lights is awesome. So definitely check that out Saturday night, and we'll see you next week, and we'll do post-race broadcast next week. Thanks for checking us out, and check back every day for new blog posts. Take it easy. Goodbye.